Okay, so we've gone through. I have removed all the driver control programming. I've left my little calibration system in place and the codes that were associated with that. Not that I need them right now. I've also changed the driver control to just when started. Now, if I was programming an actual autonomous for competition, I would want to make sure that I was using when autonomous, not when started. So that way the computer knows to switch in between them. But because I just want this to start right now so we can see it, I'm going with when started. So we've got the camera. We understand the dimensions of things that we're looking for with the vision sensor. So what we want to do is essentially make a decision. We want the robot to do one thing if the bottle is to the right of the camera. We want to do another thing if it's to the left, and another thing if it's straight forward. So to start this off, I'm going to grab a forever loop. And within that forever loop, I'm going to have those three if statements. So if objects to the right, if objects to the left, and if the objects to the center. Now within that, I need to start comparing some data. Now we know about our Cartesian plane. We know that 157 is the middle of the x-axis. And we know as in the current configuration, as that robot's going to move, the bottle will be appearing to move in the x-axis of the image, not the y. So we've got that information. So essentially, we want the bottle to be sitting at 157 in x, or at least the center of the bottle, so we know we can line it up with the claw. So let's take a look at some operations that we could do. I've got greater than, less than, equal to. Start with greater than. So let's say the value is greater than 180. That gives us lots of room to that 157. In my sensing, we can take a look at the camera. So I've got vision object width. I'll put that up, but I'm going to change width again to center X because we're looking at that X axis. Now, if this happens and it's sitting out on the X, we want the robot to turn to the right. So I'm going to go drivetrain, turn right. Now I might mix right and left up. That happens almost every time I do this, but that's okay. So we've got that. So now what do we do? Well, we want to go and take a look at if the value is less than that, our 157 sweet spot. So I'm going to come in, I'm going to go less than, and this time I'm going to set it to 130. It's a fair bit less, but it's just giving us a bit of a range to work with. Go back to sensing, and I'm going to come down to my vision sensing, and vision object width again, but again, center X. And if that's the case, I want to turn to the left. So to right, left. Now the next one is if we hit that sweet spot. So between 180 and 130, where it's going to go into the right spot. Now I use the word and there, so I probably want to use the and in my if statement. So I'm going to grab that. I'm just going to duplicate these ones, make it a bit faster. So if the object, well now, is less than 180, and we'll grab this one. I might just need to pan around a little bit. So you can see it. And the object is greater than 130. So there's my two values. I want the drivetrain to drive forward. So I've got right, left, and forward. Make sense? Now let's make sure. Now the one thing that I'm still missing here, which everything looks all right, but there's one more sensing thing that we do need to do to make this work. And that is to essentially take a picture. So I'm going to take a snapshot, so Vision 9 snapshot of my bottle. It's going to base all of that on this. I'm actually not going to put it there. I'm going to put that inside my forever loop because I want it to take a picture every time that loops, so we really know the positioning of that. So with that in, we should be able to test that. So I'll just download that to the robot. We'll just play a little bit of that camera angle so you can see it working. So there's our robot there. I'm going to hit run. And you can see, there we go, it's driving forward. It's hitting the bottle, but it is clearly not stopping. It is just driving off into space. But that's right. So we've successfully wrote a code that is attacking that bottle. So now we need to come back in and write a new, or adjust the code so it stops when it gets to a certain point. Just going to set this camera back down. Sorry if the view is not perfect. So what happened there is we've got right, left is all working fine, but it's going forever. So we need to take a look at some other options that we have. I'm just going to shrink that for a second. Don't want to take that out. I'll just pan over. Under controls, instead of going forever, we could go repeat until. Now, repeat until will keep running this loop until something else happens. So I'm just going to grab all of this, dump it in repeat until, get rid of my forever. So repeat until. Now I need something to happen. So let's say we'll use our variables again. And I'm going to go greater than. Use our sensing. I've got my vision sensing. I've got my object width. I'm actually going to leave it at object width this time. Now we said when we were doing the calibrations in the last video that at about 170 the bottle's sitting in the claw. I'm just going to set this at 130 because it's easier to see. But essentially this is going to repeat until that object is greater than 170. I'm also going to take a snapshot before just so it knows where to start. So we've got this nice little loop. I'm just going to move the robot back and we can try that out. One thing I almost forgot there is when this is over, we do want the robot to stop. So I am going to say stop driving at the end of it just to finish the code off. All right, go up. I'm thinking you guys just got a great view of my foot. So here's our robot again. I will download the program and we'll run it and let's see what happens. So there it is, looking for the bottle. It's found it, it's coming close, and it stopped when it got to the right position. So not too bad, not too jerky. It was able to find it pretty quick. And we're going to stop this video there because that is essentially how to use that vision sensor to find and stop at an object.